Many residents there are too frightened to speak out publicly anyway about life under Hamas. That atmosphere of fear is the driving force behind an innovative project called Whispered in Gaza. It's a secure outlet for Gazans to speak candidly through altered voices and accompanied by beautifully animated illustrations. Here are some examples.
في صورة نمطية مغلوطة وخاطئة عن الشعب الفلسطيني هي غزة، إنه هو شعب يحب الصواريخ، يحب الحروب. الحروب اللي بتصير في غزة هي قرارات من حكومة حماس ولأهداف سياسية تعنيها.
وطبعا أنت كمواطن غزاوي إن عارضت الحرب وقلت بديش حرب فأنت خاين. ممنوع تحكي بديش حرب.
يعني بتاجروا فينا باسم حاجة المقاومة. موضوع الحروب اللي صارت في غزة من 2008 و2012 و2014 و2020 هذا كلها ربح اللي بياكلها بس الشعب. الناس كل ما صار حرب، كل ما دخلت مساعدات أكثر، كل ما هم استفادوا أكثر وإحنا لما نستفيد أي حاجة.
Joining us now is the project's creator and president of the Center for Peace Communications, Joseph Braude, and back with us, former Ambassador Janice Ross. So, Joseph, you're breaking through the communications blackout. You've been speaking with Gazans through this war. What is your ultimate goal for the project?
Well, these are voices that want to be heard, Andrea. No one in Gaza who opposes Hamas, which is the majority of the population, can speak openly without fear of retribution for themselves and their families. So we were looking for a way to give them a platform so that they could tell the world how they really feel, what it's like to live under Hamas rule for nearly a generation. And that was the purpose of this project.
And Ambassador Ross, 80% of Gazans live in poverty, but Hamas is well funded. They get millions every month from Qatar. They get more from Iran. They control every aspect of life in the Gaza Strip. Let's listen to how one civilian described Hamas' control of the hospitals through the Whispered Gaza project.
عائلة من عائلات حماس كان يتم تفضيلهم على الآخرين في موضوع العلاج، يعني إنه هو له الأولوية بحق العلاج أكثر من الأشخاص الآخرين. إذا كان شخص محتاج لعملية صحية بيتم تأجيل موعده لإشعار آخر حتى يتم علاج الأشخاص الموجودين من دائرة حماس المقربة.
So the gist of that for those of our friends on satellite radio is that Hamas families get priority in getting into hospitals for treatment. Hamas loyalists, right?
Hamas loyalists get treated in a preferential way in every conceivable manner. Look, Andrea, one of the things we've talked about is all the so-called 300 miles of underground tunnels. Are they used to protect Palestinian civilians? You know, I was speaking to one of the people I know in Gaza a couple of days into the war, and she was lamenting the fact she and her family were exposed, but she said, you know where all the Hamas leadership is? They're all underground. They're all in the tunnel. The tunnels are not there to protect the Palestinian public. They're to protect only the Hamas officials. So you see, again, the contrast. What Whispers in Gaza shows is what it's like to live under Hamas. Hamas is, I said it earlier in your show, they hold their whole population hostage. And in the meantime, they do things that serve the Hamas purposes, but not their public's purposes.
Joseph, let's play a little bit more from your collection. This is on how Hamas tries to silence Palestinians.
أنا كنت نازلة أغطي الحدث، انضربت، إيدي انكسرت، جوالي انكسر، كاميرتي انكسرت، وبيتنا تبهدلوا. عيلتي العدد كبير، أي حدا من عيلتنا يمسكوه ينحبس، كلهم بالضرب بالبهدلة.
And saying that they beat them, they abuse them, put them in jail. Are these brave Palestinians the future of Gaza? What is the hope, really, for Israel achieving its goal of eliminating not only Hamas leaders and their soldiers, their terrorists, but the people who may well now become radicalized by the crushing blows of the Israeli assaults, the offense?
Sure. I mean, the hope and the great challenge is to enable these young people in Gaza, 1,000 of whom demonstrated against Hamas in 2019, braving gunfire and prison, to find a way that they can survive this war and go on to participate in a a technocratic government that's oriented toward reconstruction. They want to do that. On the ongoing series, which we're releasing with the Free Press now, we have someone who's going to be telling the story of youth committees that are now being formed to try to move aid into the hands of the people who need it so that Hamas can't take it away. So yes, this leadership exists. There is courage within Gaza among opponents of Hamas. They speak for the majority of the population when they dare to raise their heads. And the challenge is to enable them to play a role in the future of Gaza after this war.
And Dennis Ross, our teams on the Hill have just seen Secretary Blinken going into Speaker Johnson's offices. So there's going to be a summit, if you will, between America's top diplomat and the new House Speaker, who has eliminated Ukraine funding from the administration's proposal.
Yeah, it's very disturbing because you're seeing an assault on freedom in Ukraine, and obviously you're seeing an unbelievable set of massacres in Israel. They're obviously designed to prevent peace in the Middle East. It's very important from a national security standpoint that we approach this in a unified way. The more unified we are in these kinds of issues, the rest of the world will take notice.